The second of our Generation 1 starters to run this Jotonian gauntlet is Charizard. In the last run, Blastoise set the bar incredibly high for the Generation 1 starters, and to add to the pressure on Charizard, it shares the exact same base stat distribution as Typhlosion. So will Charizard be up for the challenge? Let's find out together. As always, just before we get into the run, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for the support you showed Blastoise. It was a very fun run to do, even with the few mess-ups I made in the process. And if you enjoyed this video, please do remember to leave it a like. If you want to see more content just like this and be notified of when I go live, please do click the subscribe button. And I have a Patreon at patreon.com/trainersquidgy. And can you believe this is our 50th video together? The time really does fly, and if there wasn't already pressure on me by sheer virtue of running Charizard, there definitely would be pressure on me to make this video one of the best we've ever had. But in order to make this the best we've ever had, we need to have a look at our base stats to see what we're running with. We have 20 HP at level 5, we're holding a berry and our moves are Scratch and Growl. We have 11 in attack, 10 in defense, 12 in special attack, 11 in special defense, and 13 in speed. They're the stats of our Charizard, and our hidden power type is Ice. And now with the graphics up, we can get the challenge underway. We get the potion from Professor Elm's aid, and as always I will show you the very first encounter we have with a wild Pokémon. In this instance it's a level 3 Hoothoot. We start scratching it, but it growls us, and that pesky Hoothoot has lowered our attack to make it into a 4-shot. We do eventually knock it out though and make our way towards Mr. Pokemon's house. Just before we enter, we're going to take advantage of that free heal to deplete most of our PP and grow up a few levels. So we start scratching another wild Hoothoot and we grow to level 7. At level 7 we will learn Ember. Ember is a base 40 power move growing to base 60 power with Stab. And it is very nice to have a Stab move this early on, especially one that can actually hit quite hard. And then just before entering Mr. Pokemon's house we do a little bit more leveling. And it's at this point I'll tell you I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Cyndaquil with Charmander. That gave the rival Totodile, and we shall see it for the first time right about now. Of course, Ember's not going to do much at all, so he starts scratching it, and just 4 scratches later we knock it out and we've defeated the rival for the very first time. Now he told us that his name was triple question mark, and this police officer wants to know the rival's name, so he won't do a lance and lie to the police officer, and instead we will tell him that the rival's name is triple question mark. We'll get the balls from Professor Elm's aid, and then we'll make our way through towards Violet City. And now the challenge is well and truly underway. One of the big things you need to think about when running a challenge like this is where you're going to go at every single point in the run. So for instance in this run, because we're a fire type Pokemon, I decided to take on Sprout Tower early. The lion's share of the trainers in Sprout Tower run Bellsprout, and having Ember on our learn set means that a lot of these battles are going to be simple one-hit KOs, and that means we get an awful lot of early game experience that we would otherwise have missed out on, and that will really help us out here in Falconer's Gym. He's our first leader together, a flying type specialist who leads with Pidgey. We use Ember against the Pidgey, get a critical hit and knock it out in one shot. We use Ember against the Pidgeotto, he doesn't use Mud Slap and it's just 2 shots to knock it out, and we get an evolution. The beauty of the medium-slow experience group is you level up incredibly quickly at the start of the game, and with that we have Falconer's badge in a time of 8 minutes and 2 seconds. Let's now leave Violet City and make our way towards Azalea Town via the Union Cave. We're going to skip all the trainers in the cave this time as we are weak to most of them, and we'll instead go straight into the Ilex Forest where our HM friends are waiting for us. The first one this time is Psyduck. Psyduck's going to be helping us out with Surf, Strength, Waterfall and Whirlpool. And on Team Psyduck we have Mudharvey, Hayabusa, William St. Germain, Dr. Koof Bratom and King Cygnus. The next HM friend we find is Paris. Paris is going to be helping us out with Dig, Cut, Sweet Scent and Flash. And on Team Paris we have Gemma Barnes, Andrew the Sandshrew, Peachleaf and Seaduke. And with our friends from the forest safely tucked away in our bag for another run, we'll start taking on the gym. We have the type advantage in this gym, so we're going to take on all the trainers, and against Bugcatcher Josh we grow to level 20 and learn Rage. We'll replace Growl with that, and now it's time to take on Bugsy. Bugsy is our second gym leader together. He's a bug-type trainer who leads with Metapod. It's a one-shot on the Metapod with Ember, and it's exactly the same against the Kakuna. His Scyther comes out, we take off over half health and burn it on our first turn. He uses quick attack on the second turn, but it's too late for him. We knock him out with a second Ember, and we get our Hive badge in a time of 14 minutes and 7 seconds. We can't celebrate for too long though, because we have Rival 2 coming up, and when you're a fire, water or grass type Pokemon, this is a very tough battle. We're going to replace Scratch with Swift to give us the best chance of getting through, and then we'll just bite the bullet and take him on. The Rival leads with Ghastly this time, and we one-shot it with Ember, and now we're onto that pesky Croconaw. This is the Pokemon I've been worried about in this battle. Swift doesn't do nearly as much as I'd hope it would do, so I switched to Ember, either trying to get a burn or a critical hit. We got the critical hit, so we're through the Croconaw, and then we can just finish off his Zubats with 2 Embers. That was an incredible piece of luck there against the Croconaw to get us through the Rival on our very first try. And with the Rival defeated for a second time, we'll make our way back into the Ilex Forest and help a rogue Farfetch'd find its way home. We get 2 rewards for doing that, the first being the Cut HM, and the second one being a piece of charcoal from the Chopping Master's apprentice. And now we can head back into the Ilex Forest for a third time. We'll grab Headbutt from the green-haired man staring at a tree, and now we'll finally leave there once and for all. It's now time to catch our third HM friend. This one's Abra, who'll be helping us out with Teleport, and on Team Abra we have Austin, we have Pariah Dark, and we have SSJ Derp. Let's now make our way north into Goldenrod City, where we'll get the bikes so that we can move about as quickly as we possibly can. And now it's time to grab our final HM friend. This one's Kenya, who'll be helping us out with Fly. And on Team Kenya we have Salami Guy and Floor Inspect. And now very quickly before we head into the National Park, we're going to replace Swift with Headbutt. Even though I really like Swift as a move, I think Headbutt is going to be more beneficial in the long run. And keeping Rage is very beneficial against Pokemon that can hit us with multi-strike moves, because our Rage counter will increase exponentially. And now that we're out of the National Park with Dig acquired, we can have a little chat with Floria and make our way back to Goldenrod City and into the department store. We've battled enough trainers at this point to be able to get the Return TM early, and we'll also buy a couple of Fire Punch TMs. Fire Punch is a significant improvement over Ember. We lose 10 PP, but we almost double our power. And I can think of no better place to give Fire Punch a run for its money than in Whitney's gym. Whitney, of course, is a normal type specialist, but she does have that Rollout Miltank, and Rollout is going to be super effective against the Charmeleon. So we'll engage Whitney in battle, and she leads with Clefairy. Clefairy's double slap misses, which means it's a 2 shots with Fire Punch. She sends out the Miltank, we use Fire Punch as she starts to roll, but it's only 2 shots. That is the beauty of Fire Punch, and we get the badge in a time of 21 minutes and 9 seconds. And with the badge safely tucked away in our badge case, we can make our way next door into the flower shop and have a little chat with those eavesdropping ladies. They hear that we're better than Whitney and give us the Squirts bottle, and that allows us to get rid of that pesky tree and make our way into Ecruteak City. Our first destination in Ecruteak City is the Kimono Girls Dance Theatre. We take on all 5 evolutions, and I'm always going to show you the one that we're weakest against. In this instance it was Vaporeon, but we just headbutted it twice and it was out of there. And our reward for defeating all 5 of the Kimono Girls is Surf. We'll grab that from the man staring at the stage, and we'll make our way east towards Mahogany Town and the Lake of Rage. While we're at the Lake of Rage, we'll grab the rare candy and we'll also pick up Hidden Power. There are no prizes for guessing what Hidden Power type we have this time. It is of course Hidden Power Ice. We don't have much type coverage, and being a special attacker, that really is the best type we could go for. We'll also grab the Mince Berry and make our way into the Burnt Tower, where the rival is waiting us. This is our third rival battle together, and this time he leads with that pesky Haunter. I really don't like this battle if you can't one-shot the Haunter, because it will swear at you. We're onto the Croconaw now, and we just keep headbutting it. Water Gun does a teeny tiny bit of damage, but we knock it out in 3 shots. Out comes the Zubat, and we punch it in the mouth with fire, and we do exactly the same against the Magnemite. This is one of those battles where having the fire type really does help, because that Magnemite can be such a pain in the bum without it. So we'll now release the beasts and make our way into our 4th gym together. This one's Morty's gym. He's a ghost type specialist who will lead with Ghastly. We don't have anything super effective against these ghosts, so we're just going to brute force with Stab. We punch the Ghastly and the first Haunter in the mouth with fire. We do exactly the same against the Gengar on critical hit, so it's a 1-shot, and out comes the last Haunter. That was very much a blink and you'll miss it battle, 4 1-shots to get the badge in a time of 27 minutes and 46 seconds. Let's now go west, where life is peaceful, all the way over to Olivine City. Our first destination in Olivine City is the cafe, where we have a little chat with the man who says nasty things about our Pokemon, but he does give us the Strength HM, so we can't be too mad at him, and then we'll start ascending the Lighthouse. In the lighthouse, we battle Sailor Ernest, and Sailor Ernest is going to help us learn our next move. It was a short and sweet time having Fire Punch, but we are going to upgrade to Flamethrower. The Charmeleon line is one of very few lines that can learn Flamethrower via level up, so we're going to take full advantage of that, and that means we won't have to go to the game corner after Kanto. We'll also have a little chat with Jasmine while we're here, we'll grab the rare candy, and now we'll dig out of the lighthouse, cross the open sea, and make our way into Cianwood City. And the first thing we're going to do in Cianwood City is battle Ucene. We're currently level 34, and Charmeleon evolves at level 36. So we're definitely going to need to think about getting a couple more levels before we even consider battling Chuck and his Poliwrath. We're going to be at a significant type disadvantage until we gain that flying type with Charizard, and then we'll at least be on an equal footing because we'll both have super effective moves against each other. So after defeating Ucene, we're still level 34. We'll grab the secret potion from the man in the medicine shop, and after battling all the gym trainers we weren't quite level 36. That means we're going to have to take on Swimmer Wendy and her set of Horsey, and that takes us just over the edge of level 36 and we get the evolution into Charizard. And at level 36 we learn Wing Attack. Wing Attack is a very nice strong stab move, base 60 power, probably the second best flying type move in the game, and we'll test it out against Chuck. This is our 5th gym leader together, he's a fighting type specialist, and he leads with Primeape. We use Wing Attack against the Primeape and it knocks it out in one shot, and he sends out the Poliwrath. We get him into the red as Hypnosis misses, and one more Wing Attack knocks it out, and we have the Storm Badge in a time of 33 minutes and 29 seconds. So let's now leave the gym and have a little chat with Chuck's wife. I have no idea why I teleported out of the gym, but I did. She'll give us Fly, which we will use straight away to head back to the Lake of Rage to battle the Red Gyarados. This Red Gyarados shouldn't be too much of an issue at all, we'll just keep headbutting it and hoping it flinches. We flinch it every single turn to knock it out in 3 shots, and that triggers Lance the Liar to appear. The Lie with the Flyer tells us all about the stuff going on in the underground, but nothing interesting happened at all. In fact, I think he was lying about the whole thing. So we will dig out of there with the Whirlpool HM acquired and make our way into Price's gym. Price is our 6th gym together, he's an Ice-type specialist who leads with a Seal. On paper, you'd think we'd have the type advantage over an Ice-type gym, but 2 of his Pokemon are Water-type and the other one's a Ground-type, so we really are on an equal footing with them. We use Flamethrower against the Dugong to take it into the red, and a second one knocks it out, and then we finally have a type advantage over the Piloswine, so we knock it out in a single Flamethrower, and we acquire the Glacier Badge in a time of 38 minutes and 35 seconds. And now that we have 6 badges acquired, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to go back to Violet City and grab the rare candy outside the Sprout Tower. We couldn't get that earlier because we needed Surf, and we'll go into Azalea Town and grab the King's Rock. Generally, if I'm running a fast Pokemon with decent physical attack, I will grab the King's Rock. That 10% chance of flinch really does come in clutch. But we'll make our way back to Olivine City, climb the lighthouse once more, we'll watch Jasmine give the secret potion to Amphi, and we'll make our way into her gym. Jasmine is the Steel-type specialist of the Johto region, and that means we actually have a type advantage. So it's just a hunch, but I think this battle might be a foregone conclusion. We use Flamethrower against Magnemite number 1, and she sends out Magnemite number 2. It's another one-shot on Magnemite number 2 with Flamethrower, so she sends out Steelix. Once again, it's a one-hit wonder with Flamethrower to knock it out, and we get the Mineral Badge in a time of 40 minutes and 14 seconds. 7 badges acquired, let's make our way to Goldenrod City. We're going to grab the rare candy south of the daycare in Goldenrod City and make our way into the underground. And in the underground, the rival ambushes us. It's our 4th battle together, and this time he leads with Golbat. This Golbat can be quite pesky if you don't one-shot it because it knows Confuse Ray, so we'll knock it out with a critical hit, and he sends out Feraligatr. Feraligatr uses Rage on the first turn and a very weak Water Gun on the second turn, so we knock it out with 3 headbutts. We grow to level 44 and decline the option to learn Slash. We'll Flamethrower all over his Magneton. He sends out Haunter and Flamethrower as a one-shot on that as well. And then it's Poor Sneasel. We Flamethrower that for super effective damage. And that's the 4th rival battle all done and dusted. Nothing of great significance happened in the Radio Tower storyline, so we'll skip to the end where we get the rewards. We'll acquire the pink bow from Mary, we'll get TM11 from the green-haired lady on the 3rd floor, and finally we'll get the radio card from the lady at reception so that we can wake up that pesky Snorlax in Kanto a little bit later on. We'll fly to Mahogany Town and go east towards the ice path, and there are a couple of important items we need to pick up in the ice path. We'll get the Waterfall HM so that we can ascend the waterfall and go to the Pokémon League, and we'll also grab the Nevermelt Ice. And while we're in the ice path, we will teach Hidden Power Ice over smoke screens so that we actually have a use for the Nevermelt Ice. We'll make our way into Blackthorn City, and with nothing of great significance happening in there, we'll go straight to the gym where Clair is waiting for us. She's a Dragon-type specialist who leads with Dragonair. We one-shot the first Dragonair and grow to level 49. She sends out Dragonair number 2. Hidden Power Ice does just as good a job against that one, and it does exactly the same against the third. No paralysis from Thunder Wave for us as we use Hidden Power Ice against the Kingdra. Surf hits for a little bit of damage, and we get a better damage roll on turn 2 to knock it out in 2. And a very, very quick Clair fight, badge time of 54 minutes and 29 seconds. And with all 8 badges acquired, we can now start to think about heading towards the Pokémon League. So we'll get the Dragon Breath TM off Clair, we'll surf east from New Bark Town and make our way into Kanto. We'll grab the rare candy just before the Tojo falls and carry on heading east across the Victory Road analogue. We'll leave Route 26 at level 52 and head into Victory Road proper. We'll grab the Earthquake TM, but we won't quite teach it yet. And just as we're about to enter the Indigo Plateau, the rival ambushes us for the 5th time. This time he leads with Sneasel, and that's great for us because the Flamethrower is super effective to knock it out. He tries with Feraligatr this time. We use Return against the Feraligatr to take it out in 2 shots, and we are on to the Golbat. We've got Flamethrower for the Golbat to knock it out in a single hit, and he sends out Magneton. Flamethrower is super effective, so it goes down in 1 shot, and he brings out Haunter. Haunter's another 1 hit with Flamethrower, and we do exactly the same against the Kadabra. That's the rival all defeated for yet another run, so we thank him for his challenge, and we'll make our way into the league proper. We'll heal up our Pokemon whether they need them or not, and now it's time to say thank you to our HM friends. It's thank you to Kenya, to Abra, to Psyduck, and to Paris. You've all been a great help in the Johto region. Get some well-deserved rest while Charizard takes on the league. We'll buy our 4 full restores from the man at the Pokemart, and let's take a little look at our stats. We're level 53 with 178 HP. We're holding the King's Rock, and our moves are Flamethrower, Return, Hidden Power Ice, and Wing Attack. We have 129 in attack, 119 in defense, 153 in special attack, 128 in special defense, and 144 in speed. They're the stats as we go into the league. Will we be able to do it? Let's find out. Our first battle together is against Will. He's a Psychic-type specialist who leads with Xatu. We use Hidden Power Ice against the Xatu to take it down in 1 shot, and we're on to the Slowbro. We don't have anything too great against the Slowbro, but he uses Amnesia. He uses Curse on the 2nd turn, so he didn't even bother to attack us, and that made it an easy 3 shot. Hidden Power's a 1 shot against his higher level Xatu. We decline learning Dragon Rage at level 54, and he sends out Jinx. Jinx is very flammable, so she goes down in a single Flamethrower, and his final Pokemon is Exeggutor. Flamethrower takes care of that, and we've defeated Will in a time of 1 hour and 27 seconds. Let's move on to Koga, the Poison-type specialist who leads with Ariados. We use Flamethrower against the Ariados to take care of that in 1 hit, and he sends out Muck. We don't have anything super effective against the Muck, but we take it into the yellow with our first shot and knock it out on our second. Hidden Power Ice is more than strong enough to knock out Crobat in 1 shot, and he sends out his Fortress. Fortress is incredibly flammable, gets knocked out in a single Flamethrower, and his final Pokemon is Venomoth. We do exactly the same against that to defeat Koga in a time of 1 hour, 1 minute, and 3 seconds. Let's move on to Bruno, the Fighting-type specialist. He leads with Hitmontop, he uses Quick Attack as we Wing Attack it back, and we knock it out in a single hit. He sends out Onix next, and we've got Hidden Power Ice for that. Onix has no special, so that goes down straight away. And now the rest of this battle should be fairly simple. We'll Wing Attack against all of his remaining Pokemon because they're all weak to flying, and it should be a 1 shot on every single one. That means we've defeated Bruno in a time of 1 hour, 1 minute, and 35 seconds. Up next is the usual suspect for killing a run dead in its tracks, it's Karen. She leads with Umbreon, and Umbreon's Sand Attack fails. We knock it out in 2 shots and grow to level 56, and we have no accuracy drop. Flamethrower's a 1 shot on the Gengar, so we're not getting cursed. Hidden Power Ice makes light work of the Murkrow with a critical hit, and we're on to the Houndoom. We use Return against the Houndoom to take it deep into the red as Houndoom's crunch critical hits. She gets stuck in a healing loop now, so we take it out in 2 further shots, and that just leaves the Vileplume. Vileplume's weak to Flamethrower, so we knock it out in 1 hit, and we've defeated Karen in a time of 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 20 seconds without a single reset. Now the only thing standing between us and the Hall of Fame is Lance, the Liar with the Flyers. He's a flying type specialist who leads with Gyarados. We use Return against the Gyarados as he uses Rain Dance, and another Return knocks it out in 2 hits. He sends out Dragonite number 1 and Hidden Power makes light work of it. We knock it out in 1 shot. He tries again with Dragonite number 2 and once again it's a 1 shot. We're not getting Thunder Waved this time. Aerodactyl comes out and Aerodactyl is also weak to ice, so we knock it out in a single hit, and it's Charizard versus Charizard. Hidden Power Ice takes it into the yellow and another one knocks it out, and his final Pokemon is that last level 50 Dragonite. We knock that out with 1 shot as well, and we've defeated Lance in a time of 1 hour 3 minutes and 11 seconds. And our final league time is 1 hour 3 minutes and 28 seconds. That's a whole 51 seconds ahead of Kangaskhan. Now don't you dare go anywhere, Kanto is next. And we're back where it all began, outside our home in Newbark Town, where Professor Elm gives us a phone call. He's got something to give us. It's the SS ticket to allow us to get to Kanto proper. But of course, before we get to Kanto proper, we've got a couple of bits to do here in the Johto region. We're going to retrieve our HM friends from the Costa del PC box, so it's a very warm welcome back to Kenya, to Abra, to Psyduck and to Paris. They all had a lovely little rest in the Costa del PC box as Charizard was taking on the league, and now let's pick up our final couple of bits. We've got a rare candy to pick up here in Mount Malta, and we're going to fly to Olivine City into the Whirl Islands, and we'll pick up the second rare candy from there as well. And now, very quickly, before we take on the Kanto region, we're going to say goodbye to Wing Attack and hello to Earthquake. Believe it or not, we've taken on all the fighting-type Pokemon we're going to be battling in this run, so Wing Attack is a little bit surplus to requirements, and Earthquake gives us much better coverage. And with that, we are now in Kanto, and the first thing we do in Kanto is the last thing we do in Johto. We're going to get another rare candy, this time from the chairman of the Pokemon Fan Club. We'll cycle through Saffron City and into Celadon City, and we'll pick up the leftovers from the cafe in Celadon. I've decided these are definitely the quicker leftovers to get with my current routing. We'll grab the PP up from the bush, and now it's time to take on Erica. Erica is our 9th gym leader together, and feel sorry for her because she is a grass-type specialist. We 4 times resist grass-type moves, and we have Flamethrower on our learn set. This is a foregone conclusion. It's going to be a one-hit wonder on every single one of her Pokemon. So we say goodbye to all 4 of her Pokemon, and we get the badge in a time of 1 hour 8 minutes and 3 seconds. The next gym battle isn't going to be as easy though. It's Misty, the water-type specialist who leads with Golduck. We use Return against the Golduck as Surf hits us for a little bit of damage. We knock it out on our second turn, and she sends out Quagsire. We use Hidden Power Ice to take her deep into the red as she starts the Rain Dance, and we're on to the Lapras. We can't use Flamethrower because of the Rain Dance, so we're going to use Return instead, and we get a critical hit to knock it out in 1. And that just leaves the Starmie. We take it into the yellow as Surf hits for huge damage. We survive on 25 though, and that's enough to get us the win, and the Cascade badge in a time of 1 hour 12 minutes and 20 seconds. Let's now move on to Sabrina, the Psychic-type specialist who leads with Espeon. We one-shot the Espeon with Flamethrower, and she sends out Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime's bulky, but not bulky enough to take a Flamethrower, and neither is the Alakazam. It's 3 one-shots for Sabrina to get her badge in a time of 1 hour and 13 minutes. We're making incredible progress through the Cantonian gym leaders, and let's try Surge. Surge is our Electric-type specialist who leads with Raichu. Flamethrower is a one-shot on the Raichu, so he sends out Electabuzz. I accidentally go into the bag and then swap to Earthquake for the Electabuzz to knock that out in one shot. We use Earthquake against Electrode number 1, and that goes down in a single hit as well. Magneton is 4 times weak to ground, so that puts up 0 resistance, and his final Pokemon is another Electrode. Another one-shot, and we have Surge's badge in time of 1 hour 14 minutes and 23 seconds. The final gym leader in our rapid-fire gauntlet of Cantonian gym leaders is Brock. Brock is a Rock-type specialist who led with Graveler, but it's already gone before I finished his intro. We use Earthquake against the Omastar, and that goes down in a single hit, so he sends out Onix. We use Hidden Power Ice against the Onix to one-shot that, and we're on to the Kabutops. We go back to Earthquake with the Kabutops, and that goes down in a single hit, as does the Rhyhorn with Hidden Power Ice. And that was our most dangerous gym completed in a time of 1 hour 15 minutes and 34 seconds. Let's now start heading south towards Cinnabar Island and have a little chat with 3Drill en route. And I really do think it's worth taking on 3Drill on almost every run. He provides a huge amount of experience for this point in the run, and the stat experience isn't to be sniffed at either. And after defeating all 3 of those Beedrill with a single return each, we can make our way past the Viridian Hedge Maze, and into Viridian City proper. We'll cycle south into Pallet Town and make our way to Cinnabar Island. At Cinnabar Island, Blue is waiting for us, and he's going to tell us all about this horrible volcano that decided to erupt here. But we mustn't dwell on it because there's a rare candy that's been unearthed, and then we'll surf east to the Seafoam Islands and have a little chat with Blaine. Blaine is our 14th gym leader together. He's a fire-type specialist who leads with Magcargo. We use Earthquake against the Magcargo and it goes down in one shot, and we do exactly the same against the Bumhead Fireduck. That just leaves his Rapidash. Earthquake outspeeds and we knock it out in one shot. Grow to level 64, decline learning Fire Spin because it's an absolutely terrible move, and we get Blaine's badge in a time of 1 hour 17 minutes and 4 seconds. Let's now move on to everyone's favourite pushover, it's Janine. Janine leads with Crobat and it goes down in the blink of an eye. She sends out a Wheezing, but that's coughing and wheezing all over the place, as is her second one. They both get knocked out with a single flamethrower to the face each, and she tries with Venomoth. Venomoth also gets knocked out, and her final Pokemon is Ariados. Ariados is yet another one-shot, and we've defeated Janine in a time of 1 hour, 17 minutes and 52 seconds. It's almost time to take on Blue, but before we do, we're going to say goodbye to Hidden Power Ice and hello to Sunny Day. Sunny Day is going to give us a nice boost to our Fire-type moves, as well as nerfing those pesky Water-type moves. Blue leads with Pidgeot, and we'll set up a Sunny Day straight away as Wing Attack hits for minimal damage, and a single Flamethrower knocks it out. And here is where I made a little bit of a misplay. I got struck by the super effective fallacy and went for Earthquake when I should have gone for Flamethrower again. That meant that Rock Slide did a huge amount of damage and we're down to 30 HP as the Gyarados comes out. Gyarados takes one look at us, hits us with a Hydro Pump, and it's good night and thank you for living. Let's not make that same mistake again. We're back onto the Pidgeot. We set up the Sunny Day and we set it up twice just to be sure, and then we get to Flamethrowering. We knock out the Pidgeot in one shot and we're onto the Rhydon. We use Flamethrower and Rhydon gets taken deep into the red as he uses Sandstorm instead. Another Flamethrower knocks it out, and we're now going to try and bait out a Rain Dance from this Gyarados. We use Return on the first turn and Rain Dance happens. That means that we can then switch into Sunny Day as Hydro Pump misses, and that means we're no longer taking passive damage from the Sandstorm. We knock out the Gyarados and we're onto the Alakazam. As the sunlight is still strong, we Flamethrower it in the face and knock it out in one shot, and that brings us onto his Arcanine. We use Earthquake against the Arcanine to take it deep into the red as he hits us with a weak Flamethrower of his own. We go back to Earthquake and he is stuck in a healing loop. The sunlight fades as he heals for a second time, and it's a foregone conclusion against this Arcanine as Extreme Speed critical hits, but we knock it out. The final Pokemon is Exeggutor. It's incredibly flammable. We knock it out with one Flamethrower and we've defeated Blue in a time of 1 hour 19 minutes and 58 seconds. And that's it, we've got all 16 badges acquired. There's only one more thing left to do. That's to head to Pallet Town and have a little chat with Professor Oak. He's going to unlock Mount Silver for us, and it's time we start thinking about taking on Red. We're at the 1 hour and 20 minute mark as we head into Mount Silver, and it's now time to think, are we going to beat Blastoise's time? We are very close between them, but I think Blastoise had the better type coverage going into Red. We'll find out together because this is our final battle. It is Red, a mixed type specialist, the final boss of the game, who leads with Pikachu. We use Sunny Day as he uses Charm, but we're mostly focusing on our special attacks, so that doesn't matter. We knock out the Pikachu in one shot and he sends out the Blastoise. A Sunny Day boosted Flamethrower does an awful lot more damage than I thought, and a Burn hit it as well. He swaps to Rain Dance, so we swap back to Sunny Day. The Burn keeps whistling down the Blastoise and we take it into the red, and the Burn knocks it out. We are now onto the Espeon. The rain is falling though, so we're going to have to set up the Sunny Day once more as he sets up a Reflect. We use Flamethrower to take it deep into the red, but not quite one shot, and that means Psychic hits for a fair amount of damage, and we're onto the Snorlax. We're back up to 95 HP as we take off just under half health with a Flamethrower. He uses Amnesia and then paralyzes us with Body Slam. That was a disaster, and I don't think we're going to get through the Snorlax at our current level. So we're going to use 3 of our 10 rare candies and try again at level 68. That was only our second reset of the run though, so we haven't done badly at all. We get through the Pikachu in one shot, and this time I forget to set up the Sunny Day. That means that the first Flamethrower doesn't do as much against the Blastoise. I hit the Blastoise with another Flamethrower, and then we're doing the Sunny Day shuffle once more. We didn't get lucky this time and get the burn, so we're down into the red as we knock it out at long last, and that brings us back onto the Espeon. The Sunlight's strong as the Espeon comes out, but it hits us for Psychic and we get knocked out. Let's try again at level 68 and hope for a little bit of extra luck this time. We one-shot the Pikachu and we're back onto the Blastoise. We managed to get the burn off this time, which means that Blastoise is going to be taking some passive damage. We're back onto the Sunny Day Shuffle as Blastoise keeps taking passive damage from that burn. We get taken into the yellow as he goes into the red, another flamethrower later and we knock it out and we're onto the Espeon. We use flamethrower against the Espeon, but we still don't quite one-shot. We're down to 25 HP, going up to 39 as the Snorlax comes out. We burn the Snorlax with flamethrower, but it's not enough. A body slam knocks us out and we're going to have to try again. We use 3 more rare candies and we're now at level 71. Pikachu's are one-shots, we know that's a guaranteed KO, so it's irrelevant. I use Return on the first turn against the Blastoise this time, and then I set up Sunny Day. We go back to Return instead of trying to get the burn off on it. The burn was just not reliable enough. We knock it out on our 4th turn with 150 HP remaining. We're going to have to set up Sunny Day as Psychic hits us for a lot of damage. We Flamethrower the Espeon, and at level 71 it's finally a one-shot. We're through the Blastoise and onto the Snorlax in a much better position as we're on 120 HP. We get it down into the yellow, but disaster strikes as we get paralysed again. This is our 40th Johto run together in the main series, and I am so fed up of being paralysed by that Snorlax. At some point I need to go through my footage to find out just how many times we've been paralysed by Body Slam. I reckon we must be into the high hundreds at this point. This time we're through the Blastoise in much better stead. We're in 148 HP going up to 162 as the Espeon comes out. Espeon uses Reflect, so that means that we don't have to worry about taking psychic damage, and we're well into the green for the Snorlax. Flamethrower hits for just under half damage, but he does use Amnesia. That means our second Flamethrower does an awful lot less. On our 3rd turn, we get a very lucky critical hit and we're through the Snorlax and we're in the green. Up next is Charizard versus Charizard. Wing Attack isn't doing much at all and our Return is chewing through it. It's just 3 shots to knock out the Charizard and our final obstacle is Venusaur. We hit it with Flamethrower. Venusaur is very tanky but not tanky enough. We grow to level 72 and we defeat Red in a time of 1 hour 25 minutes and 55 seconds. That was a remarkably quick time. 1 hour 25:55 puts us in 2nd place on the leaderboard. We didn't think we could do it, but we have beaten Blastoise's time and 2 of the Cantonian starters are on the podium. And what amazes me even more is the gap between Blastoise and Feraligatr was quite small, but there is absolutely no competition between Charizard and Typhlosion. Donphan's now moved down into the drop zone in 10th place, Miltank is now on page 2, and poor Magcargo down in 39th place. I promise I am trying to route a run that will give Magcargo some company down there. But with that, we are done. So I'm going to say thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please do leave it a like. If you've got anything at all to say, leave it in the comments down below. If you want to see more content just like this, please do consider subscribing. And until next time, I'll say thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.